Hey guys, you're watching No Brick All Bucket, and today I've got a special video. I'll be doing my very early NBA standing predictions for this upcoming season. We've had a crazy couple of days in free agency, and I feel like we have a decent understanding of what these teams might look like. Before we start, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get started with this video. Top in the West, we have the Phoenix Suns. They were signed Chris Paul in a huge contract along with Cameron Payne, and they also got big man JaVale McGee. This Suns team is looking pretty similar to last year, but I think it's something that they don't mind. And having JaVale McGee as a backup for Ayton, I think that could really help them out in clinching the first seed. The Suns got a taste of the finals, and I think they'll be hungry to get back to the big stage once again. Next in the West, we have the Utah Jazz. They got a pretty good versatile defenders in Rudy Gay and Hassan Whiteside. They also picked up Eric Pascal, reuniting him with Donovan Mitchell. I believe the Jazz will have another great regular season ahead of them. Now, we'll just see if they can have a great playoff run. We've got the Los Angeles Lakers up next. The Lakers had a huge Russell Westbrook trade, and now they've added the likes of Carmelo Anthony, Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, Dwight Howard, and many more players to fill out the roster. Now, the biggest concern is obviously the age. They've gotten much older, but now they have Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis to possibly play more minutes ahead of LeBron James, and now LeBron can have an easier schedule and he can play at his peak. Now we've got the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets seem to be running it back with the same team. They did lose JaVale McGee, but they added Jeff Green. Nikola Jokic is coming off an MVP season, but he'll have to play most of the season without Jamal Murray. I still think the Nuggets are good enough to get to that 4th seed. We have the Golden State Warriors at the 5th seed. Assuming Klay Thompson comes back similar to how he was before the ACL injury, the Warriors have a good chance of making the playoffs once again. They added OPJ and Nemanja Bjelica to the roster, which are two solid pickups for them, and now they can finally contend again. The 6th seed, we have the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks have had a pretty lackluster free agency, and they also seem to be running it back with the similar squad from last season. I do believe Luka Doncic will have an MVP-like season that will carry them to the 6th seed. The first team of the play-in tournament is the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I have them here because they're going to be missing Kawhi next season, and Paul George is going to have to play without a big superstar next to him. Now, I know what PG can do without a superstar, but it's going to be very difficult in the West. We also have the situation with Reggie Jackson. We're just not sure where he's going to land, so that's why I have them as the 7th seed. Up next, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, I think the Portland Trail Blazers have gotten significantly worse with free agency. I mean, they lost someone like Enes Kanter, who was a big factor in them getting to the play-in tournament and to the playoffs. But I do believe that Damian Lillard is going to ball out this season, and he's just going to up his value even more than people might think is possible. So that's why I have them sneaking in at the 8th seed and making it to the play-in tournament. Up next in the 9th seed, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They lost huge in the point guard race. They didn't get anyone that they wanted. They missed out on Chris Paul, they missed out on Kyle Lowry, and they lost Lonzo Ball. Now they did get Devontae Graham and Garrett Temple, but I don't know how much that could help them. They did get Valanciunas in the big trade with Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe, which I think they came out as winners. Now this is going to be very good for Zion and Brandon Ingram, and I think they can still make it to the 9th seed. The last play-in tournament team will be the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I have him here because although they might have lost the trade with New Orleans, I think that Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams will still be good enough to take Grizzlies and just squeak in to the play-in tournament. I mean, you're going to have Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. just balling out, and I think that'll be good enough for them to even make it past these other teams. Now we have all the teams that did not make the playoff or play-in tournament. At the 11th seed, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have a great young core, but I don't know if they can stay healthy enough to make the play-in. Now we have the Sacramento Kings. They're also a great young core, but they seem to be making some moves and might be imploding soon, so we'll see what happens with that. At the 13th seed, we have OKC. They got a very bright future with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Dort, but they're not going to make any noise this season. And we also have the San Antonio Spurs, and they basically imploded. They got rid of DeMar DeRozan, they got rid of Patty Mills, and I don't see them making the playoffs anytime soon. And we got the Houston Rockets. I think they'll have the worst record in the West. They got Jalen Green, and Daniel Tice, but that's not really going to make anything for them. And yeah, kicking off the East, we have the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, if the Nets can stay healthy, they're obviously going to take the 1 seed. I mean, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden together, it's just a no-brainer. And they also got Patty Mills, and they re-signed Blake Griffin, so it's looking pretty bright in Brooklyn. Up next, we have the defending champs, the Milwaukee Bucks. They won the NBA title last season, and they had one hell of a playoff run. I mean, they got through Brooklyn, an injured Brooklyn, but they still got past them. And I put them under Brooklyn because I'm assuming that everyone's going to be healthy next season. So yeah. But, you know, they did re-sign Bobby Portis and they lost PJ Tucker. But the team overall is still looking solid and they can make a deep playoff run for sure. At the 3rd seed, we have a pretty stacked Miami Heat team. I mean, they got Kyle Lowry at the point guard. They re-signed Victor Oladipo, and they got PJ Tucker from Milwaukee. I mean, this starting lineup is looking very dangerous. Assuming everyone stays healthy, then Miami could be a very, very dangerous team. Up next are my Chicago Bulls, and boy, did they swing hard. I mean, they got Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso in the first day, and then they got DeMar DeRozan on the second day of free agency, something that not a lot of people were expecting. Now, this starting lineup is looking very nice. They got Lonzo Ball, they got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. This is a team that you do not want to mess around with, and this is going to make a lot of noise in the East. Up next, I have the Philadelphia 76ers at the 5th seed. Now, I put them at the 5th seed because I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. I'm sure they're going to keep him with all the rumors happening. And if they do, I don't know how that locker room is going to handle it. You know, there's been a few words said back and forth. So yeah. And they also got Andre Drummond, which the fit, yeah, I don't know about that fit with the 76ers, but we'll see. I still think they'll make a playoff run. Just not sure how deep they'll get. Up next, we have the Atlanta Hawks. Now, they just recently re-signed Trae Young and John Collins to massive deals. And with that money, I think they're going to ball out. They probably won't be the best team in the regular season, which is why I put them at the 6th seed. But there's a chance they can make another deep playoff run this upcoming season. And Atlanta is looking very excited and very, very young. Now, the first team on the play-in tournament is going to be the New York Knicks. Now, I'm probably going to get a bit of hate for this, but I mean, it's just what I predict. I think New York, they do have a solid team now. They got Kemba Walker, they got Evan Fournier. Don't search up his name. But they got those two pieces, and they re-signed Derrick Rose, Nerlens Noel. So, I mean, they got a lot of their core back, and obviously Tibbs is the coach, which is a great coach for them. But I don't know, it's possible they could have overachieved last season with the 4th seed. I mean, they were one of the teams that didn't really get injured, so I think that could have played a big factor. But I do think they'll sneak into the playoff. Up next, we have the Boston Celtics at the 8th seed. Now, I put them this low because they haven't really made any move. Sure, they got Enes Kanter, but they also lost Evan Fournier, and that's some shooting that they'll be missing sooner or later. You know, I'm sure Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to ball out per usual, and they did get Al Horford back, but I think it'll be just enough for them to get to the play-in tournament. Now we have the 9th seed, and I put the Washington Wizards here. They just signed Spencer Dinwiddie, and they also got Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell and KCP. Now, I'm not sure if this team is going to work out too well. I do believe that Spencer Dinwiddie will be a better fit for Bradley Beal, but I just don't think they're getting past Boston or New York. But they definitely will make the play-in tournament. The next team and the last team to make the play-in tournament will be the Indiana Pacers. Now, they stood pretty quiet in free agency, but they got a new coach in Rick Carlisle, and I think that'll be of great benefit to them. You obviously got Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner there, so I think they'll still have an impact in the East, but they probably won't make it to the playoffs. But like I said, they'll make the play-in tournament for sure. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the East as I did with the West. I'm just gonna bundle the rest of the teams that did not make the playoff or play-in tournament together, and I'll summarize them real quick. At the 11th seed, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte has been a pretty solid team. They did make the play-in tournament last season, and obviously LaMelo Ball has been balling. But I just don't think they're gonna make the play-in tournament this season. I mean, Washington and Indiana are still solid teams together, but I mean, Charlotte's lost a few pieces here and there, and we'll see how that goes. But I just don't think they're gonna make the play-in tournament. At the 12th seed, we have the Toronto Raptors. I mean, they got a great core, but I just don't think it's going to work out for them. I don't think Siakam is going to push them enough to get to the play-in tournament, let alone past Charlotte. We also have the Cleveland Cavaliers at the 13th seed, and I put them here just because they got so many guards. Yeah, they re-signed Jared Allen, but I just don't think anything's going to happen with them. I think the 13th spot is a good place for them. The Detroit Pistons obviously landed huge with Cade Cunningham, but I just don't think they'll be good enough to get past, the 14th or the 13th or 12th spot. I mean, Cade Cunningham's going to be a great player, just not good enough to move the Detroit Pistons past a team like Cleveland or Toronto. And the worst team in the East will be the Orlando Magic. Orlando is just in a weird place right now. They're rebuilding. They got a lot of young pieces, but I know it's not going to work out right now. But in the future, I think they'll be a team to watch out for. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll put out some more content for you guys, and I'll see you guys later.